Land is a valuable source, one which is irreplaceable and hardly renewable. Our lives depend on it, even if we do not always realize it. It is the basis for all our activities. Land feeds us, provides us with wood and other natural resources, including various metals. We walk on it, babies crawl upon it, we build our houses, settlements and cities, our whole infrastructure on it. We use it for work as well as leisure purposes. Finally, when human departs from this world, the land comforts their remains. Land is everywhere beneath our feet, many times deep down under meters of concrete or asphalt. We live off land, but how do we take care of it? Around 25,000 hectares of land had been built over in the Czech Republic between 2000 and 2010, with industrial constructions, building industrial zones, warehouses, etc. The appropriation of land takes up to 59 hectares of farmland every week, most of the times needlessly, and the speed of appropriation is constantly escalating. Why is all this happening? Because in the Czech Republic, the fees for the appropriation of the most valuable land are extremely cheap. The most visible example of diminishing land can be seen in urban areas, where you can find only small and isolated islands of green. The inhabitants need housing, so this situation is often solved by taking up land formerly used for agriculture, leisure, or other purposes.
We are now in Brno, the second biggest city of the Czech Republic, which lies in the southeast of the country, in the region called Moravia. This place is Kravihora, a recreational site about 15 meters away from the center of Brno. Just a couple of meters from here is a popular park between the 400,000 Brno inhabitants. But today, we should focus on something else, a gardening colony in Kravihora. Around me, there are 14 hectares of land split into hundreds of gardens. Their usual area is around 200 square meters. All gardens are rented by local people of various ages. Little is known that gardening in this area dates back to the 15th century. Nowadays, there are around 5,500 gardens situated in various gardening colonies in the city. The total area they take is 1,300 hectares. But the city council doesn't agree with sustaining these green areas. It argues that these colonies are an inappropriate barrier in a built-up area, and that they are also cause the impassability of the city. The new 2010 Brno Master Plan intends to cut down the number of gardening colonies in Brno by 60%. The city council plans to use these lands to build houses, leisure centers, in some cases turning the colonies into public parks with cycle paths, children playgrounds, restaurants, etc. We should keep these gardening colonies in the city. These gardens help not only the gardener's tenant to improve their own health by physical work or produce their own vegetables, which they can later eat, give to, or exchange with other people, or even sell in the market. These gardens also thicken the friendship among the community by sharing a potent hobby. This gardening area improves biodiversity in the city. The trees here help clean the polluted city air. And cities and gardens cultivate the environment, and therefore there is an immense aesthetic as well as financial aspect. The city council doesn't have to spend money on taking care of this area. Okay, now there we can see all the trees and birds that are in here in this place. You can see the gardening here, all these gardens. This is very beautiful. This would be green in a season of the year. This will give us food, this will give us fresh air. And then we can see the possible future of this area. Houses, cars, pollution, etc. So we hope that the council doesn't take this to make houses.
If we focus on housing now, we don't doubt that housing is an important issue, especially for an ever-growing city such as Brno. On the other hand, we think that there are other options apart from abolishing Brno's gardening colonies. Well, right me behind is a complex of buildings known as Lenina. It is a typical brownfield. There are many more abandoned buildings like this in Brno and throughout the country. Brownfield is by definition a property which is used inadequately, is uncared for and possibly even contaminated. Can't be used effectively without administering its generation. It is residue of industrial, agricultural, residential, army or another activity. A long history of this textile factory had come to an end in 16 years ago. Since then, it has been dilapidating. Now and then, different groups of people organize some cultural events here, such as concerts of alternative music, parties with fashion shows, etc. Parts of the buildings have been rented by various firms, but a general concept for future use of the factory buildings had been missing for all these years of decay. So let's go inside this brownfield and see what we can do for our housing problem. The current owner, an investment group, is planning to demolish most of Lenina buildings and build brand new ones, restaurants, shops, administrative buildings, flats, garages, restaurants. According to the spokesperson of the group, they are pushed by demand side. The companies are more interested in new buildings. From our point of view, brownfields such as Lenina could be a perfect solution to the housing problem in the cities. Situated close to the main station, it could be a highly attractive place to use for building trendy flats with an industrial touch or even social or welfare housing. According to a survey from 2007, there are around 2,355 brownfields with the total area of 11,000 hectares in the Czech Republic. This number is not final though. There are many more numbers. Compared with greenfields, building on land recently used for other purposes, for example, arable land, restoring and refurbishing brownfields should be cheaper for the investor, should increase the value of the surroundings. Also, it is the most sustainable way which prevents senseless appropriation of land. So I would suggest this brownfield is a perfect area to build many more houses in the city rather than destroying the natural gardens and the natural environment we have in the city of Brno.